Hello, and this is my third episode of this Scratch tutorial. I probably won't have any more. If I do, not very many. So in the last episode, oh yeah, wait, no, this is normal. For a second I thought that there's something wrong, but yeah, this is everything we did in the second episode, and I believe that you can like get through one of the things or something, I'm not sure. Let me check. Yeah, so you can actually get through part of it. I'll show that. So this next part I'm going to be showing, this isn't actually, I think this is to show a glitch. You don't need to have this, so to show what I'm trying to explain what's happening here. So if I restart it with this, as you can see, there's that triangle over there. You come up and look at it, though, it doesn't show a gap, and yet you can still go through it. It looks like you go through a wall. I don't even think you can go through it the other direction. Doesn't look like it. So, you might be wondering why it's like this. Well, it's actually very simple. So, if you want to, you can just add that in and then set pen size to 1 and set pen color to something. And now, as you can see, so everything is gray, but you can see why it's like that, because this pretty much shows where the player can see. So the walls actually are slightly larger. The game thinks they're slightly larger than they are, which makes it so that they can't go through here, but the player can sometimes. Not right there apparently, but you saw earlier how I got through. So there's a pretty simple way to fix this. So if you create a new sprite, convert it to bitmap, you don't need to do this, but this is just a pretty simple way. And then you can just set the size to 2 and plop a little dot in there. And then switch costume to arrow, but then right here what you're going to want to do, switch costume to costume 1. And now, as you can see, it actually goes until it hits the wall. Also, I did it wrong. 1 second. Actually, so what you might actually want the player's hitbox to just be this single dot. Okay, not really sure how that's happening, but, you know. Okay, I crashed it. But anyways, yeah, so I accidentally just crashed Scratch. I'll be back if it uncrashes. Okay, I got it reopened, but it didn't save my stuff, but you can just say switch costume to costume 1. Now the one problem is you can still go through walls, it looks like. Let me just check. Oh, that's weird. Hitboxes are working now. Well, that's weird. But anyways, if I go over to the player and do this too. Okay, I'm experiencing minor technical difficulties because I'm messing some stuff up. But anyways, if I restart it, set ghost effect to 0, ghost effect to 0. You should no longer, oh, it's hard to tell where I'm looking, okay? In this area, you can now see a gap here. So, yeah, you can keep the player being larger, but then the hitboxes are slightly off, but it's fine. So the next thing I'm gonna show how to do is if you want to have some sort of obstacle. Now for this, I'm actually gonna take off the rainbow walls. So I am going to have it be grayscale for this. You can have this be any color, but if you want to have multiple different surfaces, you might not want to be multicolored because then it messes some stuff up. But anyways, so what I'm going to show is how to make a section that kills you. So I'm going to duplicate my wall sprite, and I'm going to go in here, and you're going to choose where you want your death zone stuff to be. So you can just, it doesn't matter the color unless you're going to have it visually, in which you might want it to have a specific color. But for this, I'll just put a few stuff sticking around. Oh wait. And then get rid of anything you don't want, because anything you put here will become part of the death zones. And you can also have circles and other stuff. I'm just having a few lines just to make it simple. So these are your death zones. And you can also rename it to be like death. I'm going to show a few different ways you can have these interact with the player. But first you need to make it actually interact, visually appear. So first what we're going to want to do is, I'm going to actually move this and put this here. So we're going to need to create a new list, and I'm going to call it surface. This basically means that if you have multiple surfaces, like for example having a normal wall and then a wall that damages you, this tells the game which surface your raycasting is looking at. So that if you look at a wall, it'll show it in one color, but then if you look at something else that isn't meant to be a wall, you can make it show it in different color, even if you want to not show it all. So what you're going to want to do is get surface to the same length as distance to wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click this button 60 times so that it'll get to 60 length. And once I have done that, what we're going to do is say if repeat until touching wall, but you're also going to do or touching death or whatever other surfaces, and you can have multiple ors. And then so this is normal, but then you're also going to want to do is if else. Let's say if touching wall, then what you're going to want to do is pretty much do this, but say replace item clone count of distance to wall, although you're going to change it to surface, with 1, or I'm going to say 0. And then else, now if you have 3 surfaces, what you do is you then in here do this, and then say 1, 2, and then have your next surface, and then just have a lot of these. But I only have 2 surfaces right now, so I'm just gonna have this. So as you can see, it now shows this, but as you can see, when you look at another surface, it just appears as the same surface. There is no difference. So what you're going to want to do is actually have this be useful. So you're going to move this again. Sorry for keep changing it. So if else, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say item count of surface equals, so if item count of surface equals 0, set it to that, and then else set it to what other color you want to do. So if I put this here, Now when I look at something of another color, of another surface it'll appear different. Now of course you can still go inside of it. Okay, so anyways, we want the player to interact with it. We don't want you to just be able to go through this. Well, actually, you might actually want to have some sort of wall that you can walk through. So what I'm going to do is in the player, I'm going to say, you're going to need to have a thing that detects if you are touching whatever other surface you have, and then your output. So one very simple thing you could do is simply send the player back to the start by pretty much just resetting any information that they have and relocating them back to the start. So if I do this here at the end, now if I go over and walk up to this, I'm back here. And this works with anything red now. Can also go to this one, see? Now let's say you want to have a health system. I'm going to show how to do that. It's very simple, so I'm just gonna this is very simple. I'm just gonna say health bar, not bat. You don't need this to run without screen refresh, but it might be quicker with it. I don't know. There's no point to not give it that, unless you want it to run slowly, I guess. So what you're gonna want to do is, so go to where you want to start. So I'm going to say, oh yeah, also make sure you turn off your lists. So go to, I'm gonna say x like 20, no wait, x negative 220, y negative 160. This is so that it'll start right here in the corner. You can have it anywhere you want. You can have it like here or here. You can even have it go diagonal across the middle of your screen if you feel like it. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to say, so then you want to choose how wide your health bar is. So if you want it to be like 100 wide, you'd have it move to the right by 100. If you can make it go down to up to down, left to right, diagonal, anything. You could make it be like a weird circle. Lots of things. So all you're going to want to do is say set pen color to white, or whatever you want the background of your health bar to be. And then, see, what you're going to do is pen down, change X by, let's try 100, and then pen up, and then what you're going to want to do is, finally is, what's it called? You're going to actually duplicate this, drag it over here. So now you have this health bar, although I did it wrong. I should have said Y160. And now I have a little health bar on the top. Now you're also going to want to say is set pen size to whatever you want it to be. I'll do like 20, and then, so there's my health bar. Now as you can see, there's no health on it yet. So what you're actually going to want to do is go back to this first location. So actually, I was going to show you this, but don't do this. It lags out. Put this before. And then what you want to do is, so I'm going to continue with this, is you need to make a variable, and I'm going to call this player health. And what this will be is this will represent how much health you have. So if you have some sort of enemy or something, then they can like attack you. So I'm going to start it out as 20. You can do however much you want. And now here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to draw the actual health part of the health bar. So I'll just move this out of the way. And so you need to first choose what color is your health bar going to be. You can make it be like green or red. I don't know why I'm saying this. It should be obvious. But anyways, so you go back here and then do pen down, and what you need to do is, this is very simple, it's a lot simpler than other stuff, is change X or Y by your health, or by a negative version of your health, depending on how you are doing this. So what I forgot to do was a few things. First of all, set pen size. You don't want it to be as big, because otherwise that kind of makes the back part a little useless. So you can make it be like 10 or however much. Also, what you're going to want to do is make sure to have pen up at the end. Now, as you can see, it's very low, which you don't want, because the max, what you should do is, since the max health is 20 and it moves by 200, make sure that you have a multiplier or divider. So, for example, in this case, I'm going to have to multiply it by 10 so that it gets the full length. But, like, there's a pretty simple way to figure it out. So, but, like, just use something simple. Don't make your health bar be like 143 pixels long, because that will make it confusing. But if you just do some nice simple numbers, it should be pretty easy. And now what I can do is, so if touching death, we no longer want this, although I am going to save it for later. So in this case, if you touch the death wall, what you want to happen is your health to go down. So you can say, change player health by -1. Now this appears to work until you realize that this is for however long you touch it. So if I go up to it, you can, if you like end up staying in it, this happens, which you don't want. So what I'm gonna do is, what you can do, one thing you could do, I'm just listing words, is you can do something like this. Of course, if you're gonna do this, then you might as well just give yourself 200 health and then not multiply it, but whatever. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a counter. Do you know what those are? It's where you count. I've already used it twice. So I'm gonna call this damage delay. So I'm going to say change damage delay by -1. So basically what this is going to do is damage delay always gets smaller. But when you touch these, the death or whatever, it will reset the damage delay and only activate it if the damage delay is greater than 0. So then once it gets low, it'll reset and allow you to get damaged again. So as you can see, if I come up to red, okay, wait. Oh, I did it wrong. It should be if damage delay is less than 0. Or maybe not. Okay. Oh, I put the wrong thing there. So now as you can see, when you go up to it, you'll slowly start taking damage. Now you can change the delay however you want. You can make it 10. You can like make it 1, which is very quick. You can make it 100, in which you have long terms of invincibility. But also, as you can see, you probably don't want yourself to just have infinite health, virtually, because you never die. So, you're just going to need to say that if your health is less than 1, you die, which is this code down here. And this should all be fairly simple. This hasn't really been much with the maze that much, and really using this, you should be able to do about anything. Like simple, other than like you can't like have vertical stuff and things like that. But anyways, it's still like you can have multiple surfaces now. Showed how to do that. I tried to make it as customizable as possible. If you want things to move, that should be fairly simple. And I showed how to make you die, although, yeah, when you die, one thing I'd recommend is resetting the player's health. And, like, if you understand everything in this, you should be able to get about anything. Because if you want, like, healing items, you can just, like, make, like, a heal pool area. Now, of course, I might add more to this series if you want more. If you have any ideas of what I should add, please tell me, because I don't. And if you have anything else you want to see how to do in Scratch, also tell me that, because I don't have any ideas. So till that happens or I get another idea, this is probably going to be the last Scratch tutorial for a while. But anyways, goodbye for now.